Are you looking for a billing company that can increase your revenue, effectively manage your credentialing, deliver the right software, and provide guidance in navigating the minefield of compliance? MediStar has been providing the right answers for hospitals and physicians for over 13 years. We go the extra mile by paying attention to the details and focusing on aggressive follow-up. Recognized for 4 straight years by Inc. magazine, our professionals can help you attain your revenue cycle goals while helping to ensure that your work is done in a compliant manner. Call one of our experts toll-free at 888-423-8080. That's 888-423-8080. Or visit us at www.medistarbilling.com.
Okay, and we're back. Welcome back to the HBN radio show, the Healthcare Business Network. Again, if you're going to find us on the internet, that would be www.hbnradioshow.com. We're here with our guest, attorney and Dr. Barry Cepelewicz. So, Barry, we were talking about audits here, and we were going through the definition of an audit, why is an audit so important, the type of people who conduct these audits, what should the doctor do once they're notified that they're the target of an audit? What should a doctor or a hospital be telling employees once they're notified of an audit?
Well, typically I tell my doctors to only tell employees on a need-to-know basis. If there's an office manager, the office manager can help or can assist in retrieving the medical records. And I usually tell the office manager to make sure that the records are sequestered and that we make copies of everything and we know exactly what we've provided to the third-party payer. So this way we have an idea of what the payer now has and what the payer does not have. So it's usually on a need-to-know basis. Certainly, if we could certainly talk about this later, but if we develop a compliance plan, that's maybe where I get the employees more involved. But we can address that issue later.
Right. And how does the audit usually, kind of taking it step by step, how does the audit usually work? You get the letter, of course, that's the first initial thing. What do you anticipate down the line? Typically, you get the letter and you provide the payer with the records. Depending on how many records they ask for, you may ask for an extension of time because again, this does, some of these records may be a few pages, but if you're dealing with patients that you've seen for many years, or if you're dealing, for example, with nursing home patients or patients that have been chronically ill, you could be talking about quite voluminous records. Sometimes they ask for specific encounter dates, so that makes it a little bit simpler. Although then you're looking at encounters in a vacuum, you're not appreciating the entire care that the doctor provided. But they usually will ask for 20, 30, 50, or sometimes even 100 patient records. Then you wait a while, and that while can be anywhere from months to sometimes even up to a year, and then you get back a demand, and that demand will tell you things such as whether certain tests or procedures were medically necessary or not. They will tell you that certain things were not covered. They will tell you that certain claims were billed out of 5 when they should have been billed out of 4 or out of 3, or that you used the wrong code here or the wrong code there, and as a result of that, you were overpaid by a certain amount for that universe of records that you provided to the payer. Now, of course, what they do is they extrapolate that amount. They say, okay, if there was a 51% error rate for the 100 records that you provided, and you have 5,000 Oxford patients, we're going to now extrapolate that over to the entire universe of patients that you may have, whichever payer it is, and now that number is expanded, so that number which may have been $10,000 can now be $150,000 or $300,000, and you are told that you have to pay it within 30 days. Otherwise, they may take certain action. And that's typically where we come in and we try to see how we can rectify the situation. Now, if you're thinking about it, that methodology that you're going through there, 51% of everything, I mean, that could result in huge and dire financial consequences. Absolutely. Again, many doctors will come with $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 demands, which is, of course, a lot of money because a $100,000 demand, that's post-tax, so you're talking about $200,000 pre-tax. But we have many physicians who come to us with $500,000 or $1 million or even more of a demand, and that can be devastating to the practice. Right. Now, what are some of the surprises that physicians don't expect from an audit?
Well, some of the surprises and ramifications that they may not expect from an audit is sometimes they may perceive that they're only dealing with the specific third-party payer when they don't realize that the third-party payer may have reported them to the Department of Insurance or to some sort of state agency about the investigation and about their findings. So now, even though they think that they're only dealing with the insurance company, in fact, they now may have to be dealing down the line with a state department.
So you're saying there's a connection. There could be a definite connection. If an audit starts maybe with a third-party payer, a private insurance company, that could ultimately end up in the government's lap.
Well, correct. By law, in many jurisdictions, a third-party payer, if they have a belief that there has been fraud, they have an obligation to report the doctor to the Department of Insurance or to some other agencies. It's just a question of when does the payer have a reasonable belief that there's fraud. I always believe you should give the doctor or the hospital the benefit of the doubt and at least say there was maybe a mistake. So you have to attack this very, very quickly and aggressively, because once a report is made to a department, to a state department, you really can't take that back. It's already done. The other thing that the other ramifications that doctors may not realize, or the other surprises they may not realize, is that if they choose to ignore or they choose to react slowly to the situation, the insurance company can take set-offs. And so on current claims, the insurance company can start not paying on those claims in order for them to recoup the monies that they're claiming that you owe now on the prior claims. So whether they're called offsets or set-offs, whatever the term is, if you are a participating provider and you look at your participating provider contract, there probably is a provision that allows them to do that, only most doctors don't realize it when they're signing it.
Looking at the challenge of the audit, how does the doctor go about challenging the audit results? The results come in, they're not good. What's the whole process? How can the doctor challenge that? Or the hospital?
There's a lot to do. First, you challenge the process of the audit itself. You talk about the fact that the audit was not random, that the sample size was not appropriate, that the extrapolation process it was not done correctly. We then look at each of the downcodings and the findings of medically unnecessary, and we try to fight them by showing that the record has the information that would show why the code that was used was appropriate. Typically what we would do is we would get sometimes an expert, either a coding expert and or a medical expert who can assist us in trying to challenge the situation. But it is a process, and it's not a cheap process. So many times doctors feel that they can do this on their own, and in fact they can't, and they end up either paying more than they should, or they end up unfortunately not getting a settlement agreement out of the whole process. And that's very, very unfortunate, because what doctors don't realize is there's a financial component to this whole process, but there's also a non-financial component. And when they resolve the financial component, they don't address the non-financial situation, which we can talk about when we talk about a settlement agreement.
Barry, we're going to take a hard break here. We have a commercial from our friends over at the Chester Company, and we'll be right back with some more questions on the whole audit process with Barry Cepelewicz.
Revitalize the image of your practice with marketing and communication services from the Chester Company. We specialize in helping you communicate effectively with your patients. Whether it's a patient handout that announces a new service or a new website where your patients can conveniently make their own appointments, the Chester Company is here to help you present your practice and its services in the best light possible. Let us show you how. Call for a free, no-obligation consultation. 860-526-9903. 860-526-9903. Call now.